should be live. Yeah, we're coming live on Facebook, YouTube. Let's see if we can go live on Instagram. It's great on Instagram because people are making comments, but I can't see when I'm over there, so all I can see is words scrolling up. So yeah, I think there's quite a few comments on Monday. So welcome if you are joining on social media. Wednesdays we always focus that little bit more on functional movement and qigong, but always having that intention of the breath guiding the movement. We did a little bit of work on the feet on Monday with the breath, and that was quite fun. I think people enjoyed that. So we're going to do a little bit more work, feet, balance, grounding, that whole idea of being grounded and center of gravity, because that's so important in terms of movement, biomechanics, movement efficiency. So that is the plan for today. As always, things may vary a little bit, but find your comfortable standing position, making sure that you've got space around you. You're not going to knock anything off tables or worktops or anything. And we're just going to start off with a little bit of gentle shaking. So just shaking the wrists, just using the legs as well, just bending the knees. And just feeling that vibration just moving throughout the body. Also think about the spine. So the spine isn't rigid, so just let that spine give a little bit. So the head might give a little bit. Notice any sort of like sticky bits or bits that feel blocked. And if you want to be a little bit more vigorous with this, you can do it a little bit quicker. You can tap the heels into the ground. You can shake the wrists a little bit more. Shake your hands up here, move around a little bit. Just to get some movement through the body. Get the blood flowing. Get the energy flowing. And as we start to be a little bit more, not aggressive is the wrong word, a little bit more energized, we can take a nice full breath in through the nose and let go. Just let everything go. This is a great thing to do if you're feeling a little bit stressed. Do a little bit of cleansing and clearing. So breath in and let go. Freeing up the shoulders. And of course, I say this every session, but it's always a good reminder that if anything hurts, don't overdo it, don't overreach, don't overstretch. Just do stuff that feels fun, challenging, but not overstretching or overusing or overreaching. Let's do one more full breath. And let go. And then just gradually slow it down. Slow it down, come to standing. It's always nice just to open up from the shoulders, open up from here, create a little bit of space there, and that helps to bring the palms facing forward so we're not just hanging down there. So open up the shoulders, stand tall. And then just really tune into that breath, just settling. Just let that breath settle. And then just checking in with the feet. So the feet are about shoulder width apart, connected to the ground. If you're barefoot, it's really nice. Don't worry if you're not. But if you're barefoot, really you can feel that ground beneath you. And then we're just going to do some rotating and knocking on the door of life. If you join the class on Monday, that little pointer I think can make a big difference is that just imagine you've got someone just gently putting a little bit of resistance on the hips. So I know we're moving from the hips and the waist, but it's not, oh, just throwing that hip forward and throwing that hip forward. You've got a little bit of resistance there, and that helps you really connect to the ground. So really grounded, strong through the lower body. And then you can lengthen and lift and feel that lightness in the upper body. The arm that swings across the front now, just bring it into a light fist, and you're just tapping just above the collarbone, just on that pec muscle, just on the chest. You may feel, only if you feel you want to, may want to do another cleansing and clearing breath, because we're tapping here on a lung point in Chinese meridians. So you may just want to take a nice full breath in and let go. And then we can come up to the shoulder. So we cup that hand now and get right into those big shoulder muscles where we can often hold tightness, tension. You're going to have to drive that little bit more from the center here. So we're not having to do work with the arms. The arms are just swinging across, swinging around the body. Back to lung meridian, lung point. So you're just tapping like the top of the lungs there. And then back to belly. Rotating the spine, getting that spine oiled. Slowing it down now into water waves, the contrast of that resistance. So it's like slow motion. Softness in the fingers, in the wrists, in the elbows. Feel that spiral. Feel of everything spiraling. Wrists, fingers, elbows, shoulders. Think of how the bones are working in the sockets there for the upper body. Also the lower body, the ankles, the knees, the hips. Spiraling. And take a rest. Just bring your feet hip width, stand tall, balance. Now you can use here, if you want, if you need to use a wall or something to support yourself, you can do. We're just going to do a little bit of a leg swing. Or we always like the two tigers. If you imagine you've got two tigers that you're resting your hands on top of, you're not going to grab them like this. You're going to be very careful not to disturb them, but it's a good way of balancing. But we want to get the focus on the leg swing. If you can balance and swing your leg, that's perfect. If there's a little bit of a wobble, that's fine. But what we don't want to do is fall over. We don't want to lose the benefits of the leg swing just by trying to balance. So please feel free to use a chair or a wall. And I'm going to mirror you now. We're going to stabilize on the right side. And we're just going to imagine we've got a little string on that left heel, and it's just going to be gently pulling that leg back. So that leg stays long, and we're just getting that leg swinging back. And the idea is it's a bit like a swing. So as you imagine, if you pull a swing back and you let go, you've got that energy that swings it forwards. You don't have to, it doesn't have to use mechanics to swing forwards. So I don't want you to feel as if you're bringing that leg forwards and back. It just needs to swing freely. The work is pulling it back and then it swings forwards. So it's a lovely one to balance and also get that leg and that hip opened up. And as I always say with balance, remember to use the upper body. So the more I think of lifting tall from the crown, the easier it is to balance. If everything's down here, you lose that balance. So just gently swinging that leg back. Use your arms, that's good. And it's say if you wobble, that's fine. Take a rest. That hip should really start to feel as if it's been working now. And then we swap sides. So balance the left side, 2 tigers or wall or whatever. Legs swing back. So you've got a little string just gently pulling that heel back. There's the action of taking that heel back, and then it just swings forwards without you having to think about it. Keep lifting tall. Keep that upper body strong. Keep breathing in and out through the nose. Who's holding the breath? Breathe, breathe, breathe. Gentle breathing. Take a rest. You might want to have a little shake. Next one is a little bit more challenging because we're creating a force across the body. So the leg is going to be swinging across the body. So it's really loading this hip that's supporting, that you're supporting on. So again, you can use your legs to balance. Use your hands to balance. Lift that hip up, bring the leg across, and then you're just swinging in front of that leg. Again, this is really important to keep tall. Make sure you're not leaning back or leaning forwards. Keep lifting tall and really get that freedom in the leg, in that hip. See if you can just free up that hip. Breathing gently in and out through the nose. Good. Few more. And then slow it down and take a rest. Let the breath settle, because your breath will have increased a little bit there. Letting that breath settle back. And then we do on the other side. Balance, use your tigers, swing. And you may find one side it's easier than the other, one side feels more freer. Good. Lift tall, 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 tall through the spine. Feel that foot really connected to the ground. Check that you're not gripping or grabbing too much with the toes as well, because often we just grab everything. See if you can free up the toes a little bit in that balanced foot and the foot that you're balancing on. Couple more swings, keep lifting, 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 and take a rest. And that might need a good shake out on both hips there. Stand tall. And then we'll do one of my favorite ones. I love this one for opening up the hips. It's a great one if you're going out running, going out walking. Balance, swing across, and soft landing. Balance. And again, this is all about keeping that strength through the upper body, because you don't want to be dragging, you don't want that swing to be pulling your upper body all over the place. So keep lifting, keep strong through that upper body. You might get some clunks and clicks. And again, if you've got any issues with the hips or the knees, this is not about forcing it. You can do smaller movements. You could just literally do movement like that. This is great. You can just do that that type of movement. So all we're doing is rotating the hip in, or rotating the leg in, rotating it out and landing. Really emphasize that we don't have to overdo things. It's when we often injure ourselves. Listen to your body. Know what is your good range of motion. You can challenge that. It's not about not challenging things, but it's about just understanding what we're doing. Good. And shake out. And just take a little rest there. We'll do another little bit of balancing and a little bit of momentum, which is quite nice. So let your breath set a little bit. And it's a bit like, I have never been skiing, but it's a bit like skiing, I think. So we're going to get like a little double bounce. So we're going to take the arms up, drop the arms down, and as you drop the arms down, you do that little bounce to the bottom. So it's drop down and stand up, and drop down and stand up. And keep that chest lifted, so we're not leaning over like that. So it's just little bounce, little bounce. Make it effortless, effortless, effortless. Very little work. And again, just make sure knees feel good, hips feels good, ankle feels good. Little bounce. Make it easier, make it less effort. Arms come up and then they just drop down, and that creates the momentum. I'm not throwing my arms down, I'm just letting them drop down and drop down. Make it effortless, easy. Now we can make it a little bit challenging. So again, just be careful if you've got any issues with the ankles or the knees. But as you come up, we're just going to come up onto the bubbling spring, and I fell backwards. So you come up onto the ball of the foot, and then, and up onto the ball of the foot, and down. So this is great because it's really testing your balance, finding your center of gravity, and down. Go careful, not throwing yourself all over the place, just be in control. And if that's too challenging, just do this, just do that gentle bounce. I got a nice creak through my toe then. And I nearly fell forwards, good. Let's do a few more, it's quite a fun one. And slow it down, good. I want you to think when we're doing any of these movements that are a little bit more challenging, always think back to the flow, the Qigong flow, because it's a flow movement. It's not an exercise, it's a flow movement. So think, that's what is nice about the flow, the Qigong, is that it brings that sense of ease to any type of movement. And that's what we want. It's not saying it's going to be easy, it's about bringing ease and flow to all movement. I'm out of breath now, I'm just going to open the door as well because it's a bit warm. How are we time? Okay, so we're going to make it a little bit more challenging. So again, stay with it. If you can, we're going to go into tiger. So squat. Start with a squat. Easy tiger. Easy tiger, that's a good one. Never thought of that. Easy tiger. Keep that chest lifted. So I want us to really nail this now. So we're lowering our center of gravity. I'm not tilting forwards. I'm not doing this. So if you can just get to here, that's fine because we've got our chest lifted. So I want you to, in any position, in this tiger position, to be able to look around in case somebody's coming to attack you, if there's something either side. If I'm down here and I'm looking around like that, that's wrong. We're not doing that. So we're going down, keep that chest lifted. Keep the chest lifted. And then there we're engaging the fingers because that really connects the back, gets that back nice and strong. But I really emphasize, if just going to this point is good for you, that's much better than trying to force it. So again, think of ease, think of flow. The other thing is make sure you've got your feet wide enough apart, because if you're too tight here, that's a squat, that's fine, it's not a problem. But I want you to get your feet wide enough so you can like sink down a little bit. So you've got your feet shoulder and even maybe a little bit more width apart. Let's do 2 more. Just really checking in with technique, checking in with ease and flow of movement. And then rest. Letting the breath settle. We're going to do that again. This time, as we come down, hopefully you can see. Can you see there? Yeah, I think so. As you come down, we're going to shift the weight to the ball of the foot and we're going to lift the heels. Now again, just do this if you're comfortable with doing it. If it's really too challenging or it's hurting, just do normal tiger. But if you can, you're lifting your heels. So you're on your bubbling spring as you come down there. And then you're on your bubbling spring as you come back up to standing, and then the heels come into the ground. So even just that one slow one, I really felt there through the thighs. So lower. And then when you get that weight shift forwards onto the bubbling spring, so you're lifting the heel. If you can stay on the bubbling spring as you come up, 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 and then lower the heels to the ground. Shift the weight forwards. Ball of the foot, bubbling spring. Keep on the bubbling spring. This is great for strengthening the feet and strengthening up the whole chain. Actually, you'll feel that working the whole chain up the legs. Let's do a couple more. And even if you just do a little bit, do you know what I mean? Even if you just get to the bottom and just balance a little bit on the toes, that's fine. Or on the ball of the foot, not on the toes. We're not putting pressure on the toes. The toes can spread. Breathe. And then take a rest. Give your legs a good shake out. I can't see the time. Where's the time? There it is. Have a good shake out. Let the breath settle. We're going to do the tiger again, but this time, as we go down, we're going to lift. So we're going to go on the heels a little bit. Whoa! And if you need to balance, so if you need to balance, and just going a little bit, shifting the weight back a little bit, lifting the bubbling spring a little bit, and then coming back. So it's just subtly changing your centre of gravity, which makes it that little bit more challenging. So shifting the weight back. You're going a little bit onto the heels. You don't have to raise the bubbling spring completely, otherwise you'll be all over the place. But see if you can just shift that weight onto the heels, keep the chest lifted. And then come back up. is when you're doing stuff like this, when we're doing the squat, you get that basic technique of the squat. But once you've got that alignment and that technique, it's good just to challenge it a little bit. Just make it that little bit different, a little bit more fun. And making sure you can breathe. It's good, nice and smooth. Let's do one more. And rest. Great, it's good. Let's have a little lengthening out now, a little bit of encouraging that fascia to lengthen, which is a nice thing to do after we've done that. I'm going to mirror you. We're going to step forwards with your left leg. So it's not a big step, I'll show you from the side. We're not going into a big lunge, but you've got that ball of the right foot on the back of the floor, on the floor. You've got that little bit of bend in the knee there. So actually, if I'm mirroring you, you're stepping forward with the right leg. Sorry, that is my left leg. So you're stepping forwards. We're going to get there. So the leg that's back, you bring that arm up. And the leg that's in front of you, you bring that arm down. And then we're just going to lengthen up. So you get that nice length through the spine. And then we're just going to do that little bit of a reach over. So we get this nice length through that whole side. And then we come back to center, step forwards, and we step back with the other side. Balance first, so make sure you're balanced. Lengthen the spine up first or second, so we're nice and long through the spine, and then we have that little gentle lean over and then back. So there's 3 steps. It's step back and balance, lengthen up, and then that little bit of movement to the side. So you're squeezing an orange between that rib and that hip. So you open up that whole side of the body. And then just go side to side and keep that as like a flow movement again. Always make sure you lengthen first. Breathing. And now just go at your own pace. You don't need to follow me. Stepping side to side. Find a nice rhythm. Let's do one more. And then take a rest. And we're just going to finish off with a little bit of pulling down the heavens or pulling down the sky, but in 6 directions. So we get that rotation in, we get that nice twist in. So we breathe in as we bring our palms towards the sky. We have like softness in the elbows there. Feet shoulder width apart. And then we have that little bit of rotation to one side as we breathe out. And then we breathe in. All this breath is gentle and light. And then we breathe out. And then we obviously repeat to the other side. Breath in, breath out. Soft, light, easy breathing. In out. And you follow your breath, and there's no start or stop, it's a flow. Clue is in the title, it's a flow. So we get there and then we breathe in. And then when you come to the end of that, you can interlock your thumbs, rest on your lower belly, bring the feet close together, let the elbows just soften into the sides of the body, tall through the spine, and just closing your eyes, just letting your body just gently rock and sway. All the work we've done this morning, letting it unwind, rebalance. Bamboo in the wind. And then I could stand here all day, but I think we need to take a breath. So taking a breath in, opening up your eyes, stepping out, have a little brush down. So just gently brush the hands together, just a gentle brush over the head, the back of the neck, the front and the back of the body. The legs, the inside of the legs, give your belly a little gentle rub. And either you're ready for going back to bed or you're ready for your day ahead. So I think I'm ready for my day ahead. Thanks for joining. I really appreciate that as always. And we will be back on Monday focusing a little bit more on the breath. So have a great rest of the week, great weekend, and I'll see you soon. Bye. Take care. Bye-bye.